on, everybody? It's your buddy, it's your pal Spaz Phoenix, the YWC Reality Check, here with you one more time talking WWE Evolution, and that is Jake fucking DeMarco. What's going on, buddy?
What's going on, my friend? Holy cow, this weekend is stacked. We have already
Wait.
previewed.
Pause.
Uh-oh.
Pause. Because I know you're not one to pat yourself on the back, so I'm going to do it for you. Before we talk about anything big, gigantic, headline-breaking news, you can check out our buddy Jake DeMarco now on Spotify.
Well, thank you, sir, for the plug and a half. I appreciate that, sir. Into Somewhere is indeed on Spotify. We're going to be bringing our stuff over there as well. Our reviews this weekend will be featured, as well as possibly some exclusive podcasts over there as well. Might do some solo just audio stuff there too for fun. So we'll go ahead and have people check out the feed, but you can check out Into Somewhere on Spotify.
So at the end of the pod, when I obnoxiously say, hey, buddy, tell them where to find you, your answer is going to get longer.
Yeah,
Pause.
it's growing, right? Yeah. That was a great clip with The Undertaker, too, talking about how he got offered to do the body issue of ESPN's magazine. And he was like, no. No, this needs to be covered up more. And Charlotte's like, oh, I did it. You should have done it. And the banter back and forth is funny. She's like, we could have had you covered with a little coffin. He's like, it'd be a big coffin, you know? But
hey,
yeah, I gotta love it. Yeah,
my wife took my clothes, as we talked about in the other pod.
She took
everybody,
my
if you're
outfit.
everybody within the sound of my voice right now, you can go back to the previous pod. We did talk about Saturday night's main event and NXT. We had quite a debate actually about Obafemi versus Yoshiki Inamura. That was a lot of fun. But the two pods before that, is what is becoming the yearly tradition, AEW All In. What the fuck is this show 2025? Go check it out. Lots of stuff going on this weekend. In all seriousness,
she tried to take my dog. Yes, indeed.
You can be an AEW fan.
Those three shows. We previewed everything.
You know what we're not going to You know what we're not going to preview? You know what we're not going to preview? Whatever the fuck the ROH show is called that's on Friday. That's clearly counter-programming SmackDown.
Yes, which no one's mentioned yet.
Oh. The first thing I saw about it at all was they threw up a quick graphic on Dynamite last night, because God help me, I was actually watching Dynamite last night, for Bandito versus Takeshita for the ROH title. That's all I know. Am I going to watch it? Fuck no.
I didn't even realize it was Super Card of Honor time yet with them, you know, and
well, isn't this their big drastic, oh, look at us, we took this away from WrestleMania weekend? Well, nobody felt the loss.
Yeah, like their big match is Athena and Thunder Rosa and Bandito against, you know, Take a Shit.
And you know what? Those are awesome matches.
They will be, but
you could put those on All In, and I will watch them as much as I'm going to watch anything else on the small screen next to my big TV that's going to have NXT
especially
on it.
Athena and Thunder Rosa, especially knowing they're having Evolution weekend. They really could have added that. I mean, I'm glad that Athena's not just in the women's battle royal there that we previewed, but
I'm just saying they could have had two women's matches at All In, but the two women's champions are fighting each other. So Tony Khan got away scot-free with that. And don't tell me that the battle royal counts, because it doesn't.
It does not. Yeah, Lee Moriarty and the Blue Panther is not riding home. Titan and Nick Wayne, and then they have To Be Announced versus To Be Announced in the interim women's world television title. So really great booking for Super Card of Honor. It's funny how big I used to be into ROH. Like,
okay, but this isn't ROH. Like, to be fair,
it's not.
I never watched ROH when it was a thing. I don't want to pretend that I did. But this is the same, and like, fair shot at WWE. The minute they bought ECW wasn't ECW anymore, and this is the same. So I think holding up the ROH when it was actually a thing, whatever people thought of that as a separate standard, is a fair judgment.
Well, what it was, the glory of ROH was them being self-reliant. Even though when they got Sinclair Broadcasting to inject like some money, now they got TV cameras, like actual production cameras and lights and stuff like that, instead of being in just bingo halls with a ring. You know, they at least finally got some equipment and whatnot. But the major cash injections into something that relies on itself as an operating budget, It never works out well, ever. It's pretty consistent.
Wait a minute, did you just say into something?
Into somewhere, that's right.
Hey, into
That's
somewhere.
right. So it was word of the day. Hey, we do have one added match to Saturday night's main event.
For Saturday night's main event, yeah.
Yeah, surprisingly enough, they said this on the Twitter machine. It didn't come from Mecha Hitler. It came from
oh my god,
WWE. They let us know that Solo Sikoa is going to defend his United States title against Jimmy Uso.
Oh,
not a bad match at all.
It's interesting, and it's not. This is a funny thing for me to say. It's not interesting in that I think Jimmy's going to win, which I kind of wish was the case. It's purely interesting in a where's the story going
on the
way.
men's show. Now that they added another men's singles match to the men's show, as they're calling it, because we have 4 men's single matches on Saturday night. I'm wondering if they're going to add anything with the women to the show. They still have a spot for one more match. I don't know what that will be, honestly, because everybody else is busy.
Here's the thing: the only thing that they could do, because you have to do some fast talking. I should say from the beginning, I did the pod a while ago that said I don't think we really need Evolution 2. I still stick to that, even though I think this is going to be a good show.
Yes.
Whether we need it versus whether I'm going to like it are two very different conversations, right? But I think if you throw a women's match, like there's some women's matches on the NXT card that are leading into this card.
Yes.
That's a bit different. But if you've got a women's match, the only thing I can think of is if they're doing something with the women's US title, because it's the only title not represented. But you have to do some really fast talking to justify why that match isn't on the women's pay-per-view. It's just on a TV show. So I can understand. I get it. People are already making the jokes. Oh, they brought a Saudi show to America. I'm like, you're an idiot. Evolution is the next day.
Exactly. And I see why they're doing the balance, because they're not going to have the men on TV. And that's what happened to why Evolution was initially created, was the balance of Saudi.
And I'm sorry, there's way more women featured on Evolution than there are men featured on Saturday night's main event, because it's 4 singles matches. That's 8 guys, right? If I do some quick math, 1, 2, 3, 4, 12, however many are in the Battle Royal.
14 announced, so
14 announced. So that's another 12, 14, 26, 28, 30, 33 women on this pay-per-view.
Yeah.
And 8 men on the Saturday night's main event card. So let's not do that. Between that and me making the mistake of tuning into a What Culture podcast that didn't have Adam Wilborn on it, had Michael Sidgwick talking specifically about the aura of Mercedes Moné and Jon Moxley.
Oh, yeah.
Eat massive amounts of shit with a spoon. Anyways,
I mean, the plastic bags being ripped out for them to destroy Vince's limo was peak cinema, my friend, as Cody would put it.
Nothing. We got to go. We got to cleanse the palate, and to cleanse the palate, we're going to jump right in to the card for Evolution.
Dum-dum.
I'm like I said, I'm going bottom up on the wiki page for anybody that's actually listening and actually wants to follow us on the wiki page. You can go ahead and do that. Becky Lynch, Bayley, Lyra Valkyria, the Women's Intercontinental Championship.
Arguably, possibly one of the main events could be on our first opening match. I mean, it's either this or the Io Ripley match, most likely, but I could picture either one of these. This initially was the match I predicted to be the big match of the show, and it certainly is up there. You would say these two are besides Trish, the longest tenured and possibly most valuable.
2 out of the 3, yeah. Sorry, no, with all due respect to Lyra Valkyria, you've got 2 of the 3 relevant horsewomen.
And if she does turn, I mean, they are elevating her character. They are making. I hope they do something with it. I want to see it evolve, but they're at least making something happen.
I will say, I actively want this to be the opening match.
Okay.
I want this match because Becky's a pro, Bayley's a pro, Lyra Valkyria is showing all kinds of like new person fire and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I want an opener that like sort of, how do you want to say this? That fills the opener role. I want that match that's going to do the Ziggler thing where these 3 ladies walk through the curtain and say, follow that.
And this is what they have to live up to.
I absolutely think they can do it. Now,
Absolutely.
I do want to sort of flip the script a little bit because we're going to talk about Charlotte a little bit later on as well.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool where all the world titles are right now because all three of the three relevant horsewomen are in matches for mid-card titles. It's a cool thing to see.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean,
But
I'm excited, and that's why I'm hoping to see if they add Julia's title. It'd be a good thing on here. You know, she's the only one missing with the U.S.
oh, you know what it
title.
is? That's why we're not getting a US women's title match because Julia's one of the ones listed for the Battle Royal.
Yeah,
I think they're gonna play up some we're gonna get to the Battle Royal when we get to it, but I think they'll play up something with her and Stephanie Vacour, and
I think
that'll be
that's the
fine.
plan. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But Becky Bailey, Lyra, there's two things happening here. Either they really want to push a Becky Bailey feud and they threw Lyra in there to make it a triple threat match to preserve the one-on-one match, which ironically I'm going to be talking about in another match, or you've got two pros in Becky and Bailey that want to do the ultimate putover for Lyra Valkyria. Either they have her presented on the night as really, really awesome and promising, but out of her depth with two legends, or she's not out of her depth and she's here to prove it and she goes over two legends. And I think there's equal value in both of those.
There
Oh
is.
no.
You're not wrong. There is value in both. Indeed. I want all of that and more. I want peak story elevation out of this. I want them to have done their jobs in officially getting over Lyra. I want her to walk away here, maybe not with the title, not with the win, but as the star.
That she
And
leveled up.
yes, that should be the
Kind of what
goal.
I said about
Yes.
Yoshi last night. Yeah.
A little bit, but
Little bit.
she's more deserved to be here. That's the thing. She was the champ. She had the title.
I'm
She
taking the
got
piss, man.
screwed
Don't
out of
worry
it.
about it.
Yoshige, however, he pinned the TNA champ.
I feel like whoever wins this peels away and does something else, and the other two fight. Like if
Yes.
Lyra wins, Becky and Bailey continue the feud and show how much of a feud they can have without a title being involved. Lyra has problems with both, so if either one of them wins, she can feud with the other one. I'm not gonna lie,
Becky
maybe
kind
it's
of
just
wants to be done with this. So if she loses the title, she can move on. If she keeps it, she can go on a tear, you know, with the belt. Either way, it's not a bad thing for Becky. She can lose the belt without even being pinned as well here, too. I mean, really.
Exactly. I don't know where I want to go with this because they're doing this is the match again. We said it about the North American title last night in NXT, but the Intercontinental Championship is the workhorse title. You know, get behind this, you know, hardworking nose to the grindstone, like bell to bell worker type thing. Maybe it's because out of the three of them, she's the only one that hasn't held it. I kind of want Bailey to come out with this.
Well, here's the thing about Bailey. Bailey's been a total cunt. Like just total cunt. Like that's been her character. She's been portrayed as a face and a good guy, you know, a good gal. But she's been a rotten bitch to Lyra. You know, hey, I didn't call you back. I thought you betrayed me, but even then, once I found out I didn't, I still didn't talk to you. Like, well, why? You know. And it continues from there. And she's, oh, I've had my own feud with Becky to worry about. So the selfish, you know, abrasive side of Bailey has been out, where she's been very defensive and very
But
just.
the part of that works for me. The part of that works for me is with where they've positioned Bailey, because Lyra's the face, like, you know, young baby face in the like new person definition.
Yes.
Becky's clearly the heel. What they've done with Bailey is Bailey can do anything at this point because Bailey can look at Lyra and do the, hey, you know, I was taken out. You didn't take any amount of time to find somebody to replace me. She can also say to Lyra, who's like, oh, why didn't you call me? Why didn't you call me? Oh, I don't know. I was recovering from the injuries that kept me out of WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Like
Which
she's
she
got
has. She's put it over, and so she has like
yeah.
a weird
So I don't think
justification while being a bitch. So she's an entitled
yeah,
good
I don't like
person. Like,
and she has and it's funny that you say that. Like, I don't see her coming off as a bitch. And the other thing about it
I don't think she's
is
a
I
bitch. I
could
think she's being bitchy. I think that's the point of her character here. Like, she
yeah.
has a reason to be pissed, and she's displaying it. So she comes off as very real, and that's been great for Bailey's development. And like you said, she's
Yeah.
not heel or face. She's just being
But
Bailey, and
also the
that's where
whole
she's
thing
been positioned into. That's what makes this feud worthwhile.
of like Lyra being the young person walking in always with a chip on her shoulder, she's got the most to prove. Bailey can be like, yeah, we're buddies. Yeah, we were going to be tag team partners, but if there's a title involved and I have a chance to be a champion, like, are you expecting me to not kick your head off if it means I walk out with a title? Like, there's a little bit of that, hey kid, grow up a little bit. That's
Yeah,
not in a bitchy way, but like, hey, you need to grow up a little bit.
exactly.
And Becky's stirring the pot between Bailey, who's coming from a place of reality, Lyra, who's being portrayed a little bit, um, not naive, but somebody trying to get over their naivety. It makes
Yeah.
a really interesting dynamic between Lyra and Bailey, and Becky is the overarching, overbearing, stir the pot. I'm just gonna stir up enough shit that I can escape with my belt.
Yes.
And I think they've worked this sort of three-way dynamic where Becky and Bailey have all the history, but the focus has been Lyra's relationship with Bailey, Lyra's relationship with Becky. I think it's a really cool thing to play with. Bailey was gonna be her partner. Becky was the one that turned on her. Becky and her had success at WrestleMania, and what, 48 hours later, she's become her worst enemy.
Yeah.
I think it's a really cool dynamic. Maybe it's process of elimination. I want Bailey to win this. I think Bailey taking an Intercontinental Championship with what we think of when we hear Intercontinental Championship and just
Could be
going on
great.
a run, take that title to NXT the same way Becky brought the NXT title to Raw when she carried it. Bailey walking onto NXT and doing a couple like open challenge type things to elevate some of the people down there would be huge. And I
I
mean, Bailey
walked in
showing up in
here kind
NXT
of
is going to get a pop as well.
unsure. Oh, absolutely. And I kind of walked in here unsure. I wasn't kind of sold on anybody. The only thing I kind of thought was Bailey and Lyra, the only two that had a chance. I don't think Becky's going to retain. She can, but I'm thinking that's less of a chance. I could see them giving it back to Lyra, having her pin Bailey, having that
Yep.
story continue, and Becky goes elsewhere. They also could just surprise us, but you kind of talked me into it because I was split between the two. And the thing with Bailey is she didn't get that WrestleMania moment due to storyline. She wasn't
Yeah.
injured. She wasn't. So at least let her get this here. So now we have
Yeah.
a story
It's
motivation.
the ladies WrestleMania, yeah.
We
And
have
the
a
thing
real
about it
world
is as well.
motivation and also a purpose now. She
Oh yeah.
missed that Mania title celebration with the pyro and the
Because
fans and all that.
Bailey
Yeah,
can get stuff over as well. When she came back with Damage Control, she came back with first of all 2 and then 3 other women with her, and her entire goal was, I'm gonna get all of them over.
that was her
If
goal.
she takes that same approach with this title, that's cool. Put her off into the stratosphere. Now, what and I'm not just saying it because they're all Irish, but like look at Finn Balor and JD and the very real life teacher student relationship that they had that translated into a great tag team.
Absolutely.
I'm not saying initially, but Lyra being the younger person, being like I say, the naive person, maybe jilted by this whole like two different people turned on me. What's the point of being a good person? She maybe goes to some sneaky means and whatever. And now Becky comes back to be her mentor the second time as a heel.
Kind of
You
what I'm
could
hoping for.
revisit Becky and Lyra as a heel tag team maybe 2 or 3 months down the line. Like
I want to see
let
Bailey
her
win
find
and
her.
Lyra turn. That's what I really want out of this.
Yeah.
That's the like creme de la creme, the get into
Yeah.
the deep of it. When we previewed it last night, I went through it quickly, but with this we really go down, and couldn't even tell you who I said last night at this point with how I feel, because my emotions have been kind of all over the place with this. And I think I want Lyra to turn, but I really want Bailey to win. Yeah.
How about this? Bailey pins Becky. Bailey, Becky still having the horsewomen history and all that sort of thing. Sorry, like pinning Becky is a bigger scalp for Bailey. Pinning the champion in a triple threat match is a little bit more meaningful than pinning the other person. Lyra stumbles back into the ring after the match. You know, she's disappointed, but she wants to do the respectful thing. Raises Bailey's hand, hands her the belt, shows the respect. As soon as she's done, smirk goes on her face, like a little bit more human looking than the smirk on John Cena's face in Toronto.
Yes,
And she turns
less
on her
robotic.
after the fact. Becky in the corner after losing sees that, loves it, and the two of them beat down the new champion to close out the opening match. If all of that happened, and as I say, going back to my idea that I hope this is the opening match, all of that happens in the first match, it sets a tone for the rest of the night. Look at WrestleMania 40 night 2. We did Rollins, we did Drew. Drew won the title. He had his moment. Seth said his goodbyes for a little bit. Drew had his moment with Punk. Punk and him have all their interactions, and Punk can't be in the match because he's injured and whatever, but he still gets the better of Drew McIntyre. Damian Priest comes down. We've got another new champion. Everything's happening, right?
Yes, look at the same thing with the women's triple threat. That also set the tone for Mania very well, also with the
Of course,
opening.
yeah. But I'm just saying, like, more so from this. I'm using the Damian Priest cash in example just because, oh my God, everything's happening all at once.
Oh yeah,
You could have a micro version of that in this on this show to say everybody else needs to follow that somehow.
I think they have it on two levels. They can have an amazing match for an opener, so now you not only have the hey, follow that fuckers kind
and then
of
the
thing,
story,
but then you also have the, so you got the Damian Priest and you got the women's triple threat aspects of it. I think we both kind of hold
all that
true
happens
there.
And it's all wonderful and it's all like, holy fuck, everything's happening. There's a dead spot after this match. Somebody's got to fall into that spot. Maybe the crowd will be a bit overexposed, or however you want to say it. Who do we stick in that dead spot? You might as well stick Jade Cargill and Naomi in that dead spot.
Yeah.
Everybody knows what I think about this. Everybody knows. So say whatever you want to say about this match.
Again, like, I feel like Naomi needs the win here, but she's the Money in the Bank briefcase holder, so the briefcase holder can lose a lot until they win. I mean, look at Seth. He lost to Orton and then cashed in the same night at Mania. I don't necessarily think that Naomi's going to cash in either, but I think that we are going to see Jade win only because she's going on as Queen of the Ring to SummerSlam. So they're going to keep her looking strong.
Here's my thought. Going a little bit historical here. Think back to old Elimination Chamber. First match of the night, Edge loses. Second chamber comes later in the night. Edge needs to save some face, beats the shit out of Kofi Kingston, enters himself in the other chamber instead. Really shitty move. Storyline didn't make any sense whatsoever, but the main part of that was Edge needs something. He needs to save some face.
Yeah.
Jade Cargill beats Naomi, and in a, oh my God, I've fallen on my face twice now. Evolution's a big show for our division. I really need to do something. I need to make a statement. I need to, like I say, save some face, get some momentum back on my side. And she recklessly decides to cash in on somebody tonight, whether it's Io or Rhea or Trish or Tiffany or whoever. But because she does it recklessly, she does it without thinking, it doubles down, and she lost. She got frustrated about the loss. That frustration caused her to lose again. Now, I'm not a Naomi person, but she's supposed to be this big, frantic, dangerous, unstable person. If she doubles down and fucks herself twice in the same night, that could do something for that character. Not a character that I'm into, but for the people that are into that character, that could be something cool.
I think that would set the internet on fire if she loses the cash in. Not complaining, certainly, but I think they would get a great deal of backlash unless they do something where it's like really storyline driven, like you said, like there's going to be a big payoff, and that's kind of the only way they can do it here is if she screws
But
herself
if you
and
fight
becomes
if
more
you fight 2
explosive.
matches in one night, and I know a cash in isn't the same as a full match most of the time, but if you're fighting the second match of the night that you've had, and you're distressed and you do a good job, like she doesn't do a job, but if you do a good job of showing how like distressed you are and how much this is a bad idea and I'm doing it because I'm not thinking properly, combined with the fact that she's already had a match, I don't think that's a kill shot for her to lose. I
Okay.
don't. I do think though, at the same time, and I'm not saying it has to be Naomi, but they have to do it at some point. The men's Money in the Bank cash in has about like a 60-70% success rate. No female Money in the Bank winner has ever lost.
Oh, someone's going to. It's
A
happening.
100% is a bit obnoxious.
Yeah, 100% of
Like
anything. And that's what made the
somebody had to,
briefcase good because eventually it was like, oh, you didn't always have the upper hand. You really had to be kind of a heel to get that scenario where it was precarious to
exactly.
yourself
And the other thing about it
and
too is
advantageous.
If Jade Cargill beats her and she freaks out on her after the match and sees Naomi trying to cash in later in the night, she could stymie her. Like she could be the reason she fails to cash in as well. So it could be excused away that way. I just think the 100%, and I don't know, I don't care. Put Money in the Bank on anybody. The 100% success rate tells you that it's one of those things in wrestling. Yes, wrestling is fake, but like it shouldn't be this fake. Like
Yeah.
it's a really odd chance that somebody would win the Royal Rumble from number 1, but they had to have somebody do it at some point in history so that it's not a never.
Yeah.
Because right now with the women's Money in the Bank, there's no jeopardy. If they cash in, they're going to win because there's a 100% success rate. So I'm not just saying this
I'm
because
not
Naomi's not
against it
my
because
favorite
it's Naomi.
character,
Yeah,
but if
I'm
she
all
does it
for it, but
frantically and they're trying to make this unstable, proceed with caution, I'm gonna steal Owen Hart's ring gear chick,
Mhm.
like she's the one that it would make sense for. I mean, she could go and like go 10 times more berserk heel and Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair have to unify to I don't know, do something. They get a triple threat match out of it at some point. It's fine. I think it's something really cool that they could do. Other than that, get Jade Cargill away from her and get her into a title picture.
okay, that works.
Speaking of title pictures, because they're both on SmackDown, it's going to be an exhibition. I don't think there's going to be a title change in any way, shape, or form. It is kind of cool that my hometown girl Trish Stratus is in it. Tiffany Stratton, Trish Stratus. Tiffany's retaining. I'm saying. Um, Unless you want to do a Goldberg thing where Trish wins it and then Naomi cashes in, like we talked about Goldberg the other night.
Yeah, that
I think this
possibility I
is
think
going to
is
be,
happening less and less too. So
yeah. I think more this is going to be one where the people that have problems with Tiffany, like Nia Jax is always the prime example, are going to try and like fuck with her. And it's going to be eventually Tiffany Stratton and Trish Stratus, who are both baby faces, at least for now. Like even Trish will be like, Naomi, fuck off. We're trying to have a match here type of
could
thing.
be, yeah,
Where
because well, Trish left a heel, so it's interesting that she came back a babyface instead of a heel. You know, like
well, she was a baby. No, last time she was in, she was a baby face teaming with Tiffany at
oh,
Elimination Chamber.
true, true,
I,
true.
I was there. I was there. She put the
That's
chamber in the
right. I
dome.
forgot about
Fine.
that. I forgot she came back since
Um,
then. Yeah,
yeah,
you're right.
she had the weird storyline with Zoe Stark that I think they just kind of had to let that die because it
Yeah,
started making less and less sense. But again, I go back to a Royal Rumble example. Do you remember? I think it was Austin and The Rock, and they fought and fought and fought, and every time somebody else came into the match, it was kind of like they got on the same page for a second. Fuck
yeah.
off, we're trying to have a match here. Like the Hurricane was maybe it was Austin and Triple H.
I think it was Austin Triple H.
Yeah, I'm misremembering because they had the spot where the Hurricane came in and tried to double choke slam both of them.
Yeah, and they just were like,
Gotta
no.
love the Hurricane. Gotta love the Hurricane. Um, but yeah, something like that where Tiffany Stratton and Trish Stratus are trying to have this sort of like intergenerational match, and anybody that tries to interfere, like you get a mutual like, hey, fuck off, we're trying to do something here. I think
Yeah,
that's really neat, and like you kind of get the criticism that babyface versus babyface isn't that interesting, but like that's what actual sports are like. Heel versus heel. I've always used the example of peak Eddie Guerrero versus peak Ric Flair, who can be the biggest dickhead, would have
Yeah.
been the best match ever. Babyface versus babyface is just, oh, look at us. We're good people and we're having athletic competition. Somebody's trying to interrupt the athletic competition. You there, get out. I don't I don't know what voice I'm doing right now,
How
but
dare you? Yeah.
I think somebody trying to interfere in the match and them out of respect, mutually removing that third person would be a really not quite a story you would expect to see in wrestling kind of thing. Um, Trish is gonna put her over. Trish is good like that. I know she's talked about, like, as her kids get older, she's really happy to see for them to see, like, hey, this is what mom used to do every week. So probably going to be a really cool moment in there for her. Might lead to another tag. Nah, what's her name? Candice LeRae is still kicking around. They could revisit that Nia Jax, Candice LeRae, Tiffany Stratton, Trish Stratus
They
match
could.
from Elimination Chamber. But I mean, Trish Stratus is one of those ones that shows. I mean, granted, it was rumored like a month ago. She's one of those ones that's not a full timer. She's a legend, and she comes back and there's, oh my god, there's a legend here. But she's one of the ones that if there's a legend surprise, you're not surprised anymore because she kind of feels like she's around.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think it's going to be light because I don't go into it with any expectation of a surprise. If they put it on Trish Stratus and she has a mini run, like, I'm down for that as well. I don't think it's happening.
Mhm. I don't think so either. I would like to see something crazy, but it's just going to be Tiffany defeats Trish. The blonde takes down the blonde, and that's all there is to it.
Yeah, I'm just glad that this is Trish Stratus in this spot and not Nikki Bella. Speaking of Nikki Bella, look at that transition. The women's evolution eliminator battle royal, something or other. I don't know. They did some alliteration with the title.
Yeah.
Basically a battle royal. We don't know how many people are in it in total. The winner is going to get a title match at Clash in Paris, which, while not being a Big Four pay-per-view, has a Big Four crowd, as
Yeah,
we
no
found out with
kidding.
AJ Styles and all that kind of thing. Still think we're going to do AJ and Dom and Paris if they can. Announced participants as of now: Stephanie Vacour, Ivy Nile, Nia Jax, Nikki Bella, Natalia, Maxine Dupree, Kalani Jordan, Jada Parker, Lola Vice, Lash Legend, Izzy Dame, Tatum Paxley, Zelina Vega, Julia, and Candice LeRae. Before we get into who we think is going to win,
What a mouthful.
yes, that's what she said. I mean, that's how Mercedes Moné got her title shot this weekend, isn't it? Anyways, moving swiftly on. Before we talk about who we think is going to win, there's going to be surprises in this one way or the other. Who are you pulling for?
I would love to see Stephanie win. That's the easy answer, but it's really the most honest answer.
You didn't answer the
And
question that I asked.
I know it's gonna be Nikki Bella.
Oh, fuck me. No, it's not.
It
It
is.
better not be.
It's gonna
It
be
better
Nikki.
not be.
I'm telling you right now.
Because what do we do? Nikki Bella versus Io Sky?
Or Rhea.
Oh. Oh my God, that hurts my soul. I'm going to
The,
ignore you said that entirely. Let's talk surprises. Let's talk surprises.
This is the thought process, because Nikki
Right.
announced the other day she's back. It's more than just one match. She's back for the long haul. And she's going to be involved in more than just Evolution. She's going to be wrestling for quite a bit going forward. She's even said she'll be there for the week-to-week shows. So
I swear to God, if they waste a title match at an international pay-per-view on Nikki Bella, I'm going to send a tweet.
one hell of a mean tweet, you and Mark. Like I said, if Julia wasn't in this match, like, that's Stephanie's foil. They're gonna eventually have them be the next Sasha Bailey, I think, as well. Like, they'll forever be linked as rivals. Surprises. Now, that's a good question. Michelle McCool will be involved, definitely. fucking lutely. My wife.
She's gonna come out dressed like the dead man. We're gonna do this like we did last night.
Yeah, she's
man.
gotta come out to everything. You know, she's already involved in all of it. She's
She
taken
got
over the
druids
podcast.
in the divorce.
She took my entrance. Oh, God, take her. Should have gotten a better lawyers. Should have talked to Stephen P. New.
All right, Paige.
Yeah, she is a great name because she's been in the zeitgeist of possibilities for a little bit of time now. And Paige just let everybody know that, hey, they wanted me to come back in 2022. Triple H called me directly to invite me back, and instead I chose wrong and stayed with AEW. And she's like, I really wanted to get the division over, so I didn't mind losing every match and getting pinned because I thought I was doing something good. I thought I was elevating us, but it never led to anything. And I guess the only match that I could have had was me and Mercedes, but she had a full schedule. And, well, realistically, people wanted to see that because of the history. Oh, she injured her.
But she would have had to lose, man.
Yeah.
Like, this is the thing.
Especially knowing that she injured her, like, that should be her comeuppance match.
This is what I'm going to say. I know this isn't an AEW show. We've done that already. Here's the thing. If I believed for a second that AEW would do the right thing, I would have loved to see Mercedes versus Saraya. If I had a chance in hell or a stoned thought that Tony Khan would actually do the right thing, but I don't.
Undertaker has a better chance of having a guy's night that his wife allows him to. He might even be able to have a shot of Jack.
Oh my gosh. Undertaker. Okay, Undertaker, Sasha Banks. Who's got the bigger forehead?
Banks. Absolutely.
Boom. Boom. All right. I know it's not as likely, but kind of tied to Paige historically. AJ Lee would be really cool.
I put out a short about that today. We talked about this briefly last night because WWE is trying to spark that internet flame. Yeah, they put out the story of AJ Lee and matches on the Vault channel and all this stuff. They put out the old pressers of Evolution, which had, funny enough to see, Sasha, Paige, and Trish. You know, so it was kind of interesting to see where they were the last time they had this show in 2018. And how much time has passed. I mean, you think about Rhea and how young she is. She's almost 30 now. And you're like, yeah, that's not old. But you remember she started. We saw her
when she was an infant, practically.
Yeah, and she wasn't even 20 when she started coming into the
I went back because the NXT Vault actually includes the Mae Young Classic. I went back and watched a couple of her first matches in the first Mae Young Classic. Holy shit. And I don't mean that she was bad, but she's unrecognizable from the Rhea Ripley that we have now.
Yeah, and even the Riptide, she used to do the sit-out one, and that would change because she said it was hurting her ass and it was really hard to take, so.
And she really likes doing the super sexy Rhea pin.
Yes.
But, okay, AJ Lee, here's the thing. Do I think AJ Lee is going to come back and have a run? No. Something like this, where it can be a one-off. I don't want to put her in the same category as somebody like a Michelle McCool or a Trish Stratus, but as a one-off, I think it's more likely that we get her in something like this, or a one-off in the Rumble, than coming back to do a full run, because she does other things, like she does TV stuff and she's doing comic book stuff and all that post-wrestling stuff in her life, but it's not exactly like she's out of shape.
Yeah, exactly.
So like stuff like this, where it is a one-off, where you do get an opportunity for cameos, I have
Lita
more hope.
Would be a big one, obviously. If we see her, it'd be interesting. Yeah. I'm always a fan.
But see, I love Lita. Lita's fucking amazing. Like, I'm a bad Canadian because, you know, Trish Lita back in the day, I was always on Lita's side. Kind of like I always took Shawn Michaels over Bret Hart, right? But again, like Trish, and I mean this in a complimentary way, Lita doesn't feel like a surprise because she feels like she's around.
She's a staple to all of these. She's been to almost every single outing they've had of the Rumbles and the other, you know, she had a small comeback.
And good for her.
Yeah, no doubt.
I like in the most positive way possible, and I know I've said that quite a bit tonight. She feels like she's a comfortable part of the furniture in WWE.
Gail Kim would be cool to see. She's another
Gail Kim
one.
was the next one I was gonna bring up. Now,
Anybody from
other than
TNA you think that might
this is
come
what I was
through?
this is what I was gonna say. Other than Masha Slamovich, because I have some news to talk about when we talk about other things. Other than Masha Slamovich, I would love to see some people. I'd love to see Rosemary. That would be fun. Tasha Steeles would be fun.
Spitfire. They haven't said how many
Spitfire would be
people are
fun.
in this battle royal. I mean, we've got 14 confirmed now. It could be 20, could be 15, could be 16.
I don't want to stir the pot, but former WWE people like Indy Hartwell and Dana Brooke coming
Well,
back for one
that's what
night.
I'm saying. Like they
Yeah.
have talent over there that could be used great, and Spitfire would be cool to see over here. Like there's some ladies that would be fantastic, but there's one far above the rest. You know who I want?
Who's that?
Tessa. Can you have an evolution without a Blanchard?
Oh my Christ. I was going to mention somebody else. We'll get to it in a second.
I don't
but
know that
oh
she
my
would get
Christ.
the racist chance or any of that other bullshit if she was
No,
out of the TNA environment. I don't know,
but see,
especially with these fans loving female wrestling.
Here's the thing, though, Jake, and I haven't been able to say this about a WWE show in a while. If Tessa Blanchard showed up, I would have to turn off my TV for a second. because at that point, my entertainment will be Twitter.
Oh, absolutely.
My entertainment
People
will
lose
be Twitter.
their mind.
Now, two more people.
Real entertainment's on Blue Sky, bud.
Yeah.
You don't join it, you just read it.
Oh my God. Blue Sky can fuck off and all. Oh, we don't like any unpopular opinions. We can't push Twitter around anymore, so we made our own, and it's even blue. Anyways, I'll never call it X. Well, you're an idiot. Welcome to the Gulf of Canada. Moving swiftly on. Heavily rumored. They've already had interactions with Fatal Influence. Former WWE superstars, former WWE Tag Team Champions, formerly the Iconics, the Inspiration, heavily rumored to be either at NXT or at Evolution this coming weekend. And if that leads to Fatal Influence maybe going for the TNA Knockouts titles. Now, when we get to talk about Slammiversary next weekend, they already have a title situation going on Slammiversary, but maybe Fatal Influence gets involved as well. Just saying.
And I mean, so when I previewed this last night with Cody, I was so anti this match. You've made it fun again. You always find a way to do that.
Which one?
So the battle royal, yes. And with that is the one thing I can see the former Iconics, the Inspiration, whatever you want to call them, being a part of it, right? I could see them absolutely being involved one way, shape, or form. Thing is, I'm not sure how involved that gets, you know, like and I would have loved to have seen the next match, the women's tag match that we're going to discuss, that have an extra set of participants not announced yet for a whatever you want to call them, an Evolution's Legends team, an Evolution former tag team, whatever. They could have worded something, but a guest appearance, because I think they should have fit in there. I think that they could have had a 5-way for this.
I can see that.
Or because they wanted Raw, they wanted NXT, they wanted SmackDown. But I feel like the Judgment Day is the Raw brand people.
Yeah, I get that.
So adding the Kabuki Warriors feels a little.
But here's the thing, though, right? I thought the same thing. But then if you are holding a title that floats over all brands, then you kind of lift yourself out of being specifically Raw, because by holding those titles, you are a Raw, SmackDown, NXT talent. It's a loose thread that I'm pulling there, and I don't stick to it 100%, but it's how I make it make sense. Because if you want to say everybody gets a shot, and all the women on NXT that aren't the champions say, hey, how come nobody on Raw is getting a shot? That's the logic loophole you pull there. But getting back to the Battle Royal for just a moment, I know that there's a built-in story there that Julia might get involved and might try to play spoiler and all that kind of thing, right? But I think that Julia is going to be taken out by Zelina Vega, and her interference is going to be watered down, not as successful, maybe even cut off. I'm looking at the people in the field right now. Like I say, barring any surprises or new signings or comebacks or anything like that, I can't see past Stephanie Vacour. They've already teased her in EO Sky before,
Yeah.
and she's a fucking star, man. The way that Rhea Ripley used to go through Mae Young Classic, NXT UK, NXT, finally the main roster, and forever on this podcast, I said Rhea Ripley ... fucking star. The next person to come into WWE with that exact vibe, like, you don't get a choice whether to pay attention to me or not, I'm going to grab your attention, is Stephanie Vacour. Stephanie Vacour versus Io Sky, fantastic. Stephanie Vacour versus Rhea Ripley, better main event Paris.
Yeah. No doubt about it.
I don't know, I can't see past her. Even with the logical things you've presented to me, I can't see past Stephanie Vacour unless there's somebody we really, really big that we don't know about.
Yeah.
And if it's Nikki Bella, they can fuck off.
I feel like it's gonna be. I'm sorry, I really
I'm gonna be
do.
real sad. You're gonna see really sad Spaz on the Jake live stream after Evolution if that's the case.
You're gonna be
I'm sorry,
an
if it's
unhappy camper. It's either Naomi's walking out with the title or Nikki Bella's walking out with the promise of one.
Technically, Nikki Bella's not on a brand, right?
Correct.
If you want to kill two annoying birds with one stone, let Naomi pick up a belt somewhere, let her first challenger be Nikki Bella, let that just be a whole title situation that I don't give a shit about, and then we'll only have one real title. Fair.
Yes.
I just fixed it all.
You handled everything.
If Nikki Bella's winning the Battle Royal, they might as well put her on a pre-show, because we're going back to that era.
I'm telling you right now, I have a feeling. I don't know. It feels like my certified foregone conclusion. I think it might happen, my friend.
Do you know the amount of people that I've seen on, and I shouldn't go down like wormholes on X. It's bad for your mental health.
Yes.
The amount of people that I've seen in conversational threads about this show putting over the return of Nikki Bella and bitching about Trish Stratus being involved.
Yeah.
Make that make sense. We're pretending that the Bellas did anything.
I mean, they certainly weren't inconsequential to the movement, but they kind of hindered things for a while, and they ended up trying to put models in with wrestlers, and it showed for a long time.
I've been saying it for weeks now. We had that match at WrestleMania, the Bellas versus Paige and AJ, and that was WWE having a little bit of self-awareness. We know you guys are sick of this. We're moving towards this. Why are we moving backwards?
Because they had the whole, I wish you died in the womb and all that stuff, and the terrible storytelling. Nikki did improve in the ring, too. She did. I will give her that. She got better when she returned post-neck injury, but she was never great. Brie was always sloppy, and it was just about them being twins. And then when they were no longer indiscernible from each other, it really just turned into this story of bullshit.
Oh, the whole, like, let's get a gazunga boob job and still pretend that you can't tell them apart. Like, let's be real for a second. But also, there's a certain politician, I'm not mentioning anybody, of course, because I think she's crazy, but, started every speech with, come on, guys, we're not going back. We can't go back. We're going to be unburdened by what was and think about what can be.
What can be. Exactly.
Why is Nikki Bella a thing?
I don't know. I wish I could tell you.
Let's talk about some awesome tag team wrestling instead. The Judgment Day, Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez taking on Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss, taking on Sol Ruca and Zarya from NXT, taking on the reunited Kabuki Warriors, Asuka and Kairi Sane. First of all, really cool moment for Sol Ruca and Zarya. Second of all, I want to go back to the point I made at the beginning of the pod. Charlotte Flair and Charlotte Flair and Alexa, sorry, two former world champions, two people that we see very, very obviously going to be back in those world title pictures soon. All of them, Becky, Bayley, Alexa, Charlotte, all beefing up these mid-card title pictures, tag team and intercontinental, respectfully. Not only beefs up those mid-card championships, but it's fully allowing other people to be in those main spots. Your Tiffany Strattons, your Rhea Ripleys, your Io Skies, etc. Your Lyra Valkyrias eventually, your Jade Cargills eventually.
Yeah.
It's working twofold. I'm gonna go with the biases. I love the Kabuki Warriors being back. I'm gonna go with my biases though, man. I really want to see the title that is defended on all three shows get a run in NXT for a bit.
You know, so much I'd like to see done with this. Realistically, I'd love to see Sol and Zarya win, but people are thinking Charlotte and Alexa wins, which could happen. I hate the merch that they have. They're like, we're
Acquaintances of convenience, and we're not friends.
We're not friends. Great. Sure. But the Judgment Day is going to retain, just like they have Finn and JD champions. They have Dom with the IC title. They want them draped in gold until Liv's close to returning to tell this story with the split and breakup. Yeah. They were going to have it happen at Night of Champions, and now they're holding off. So
I will say something funny. We mentioned a little bit ago. It's not the Iconics are not actually the TNA Tag Team Champions yet. They have that title match next weekend. Right now, the Tag Team Champions over in TNA are still Ash and Heather by Elegance.
Yeah.
Accompanied to the ring by M by Elegance and the personal concierge, George Iceman. Whoever wins this four-way, if they are then interrupted by Iceman on the mic introducing Ash and Heather by Elegance, and you get the champions and the champions staring down, that could be something cool. That could be WWE main roster acknowledging the TNA deal like NXT does. Or if the representatives from NXT win those tag titles, then you can feud, keep it an NXT-NA thing as well. There's a really cool thing to do there. And then maybe a third team gets interjected into that match at Slammiversary. There's already some NXT involvement at Slammiversary. We're going to talk about that more next week. But if it's not a simple retention for the Judgment Day because we're on pause until Rhea Ripley gets back, then I'm going to go with Sol Ruca and Zarya. NXT bias wins.
Hey, I can't argue with that. I'd like to see it. I'm just staying with the Judgment Day, buddy. I think they're all going to be draped in gold for a little while longer.
I'm really, because I know Sol Ruca has done some dark matches and she's the current WWE Speed champion, if anybody's keeping track at home. So she's technically Sol Ruca 2 belts at the moment.
Yes.
I'm really interested to see, because this isn't an NXT pay-per-view, it's more of a main roster show, it's more of an overview type show. I'm really interested to see what this audience's reaction to Zarya is.
I'm curious as well.
I don't think she's done. I'm obviously dark matches are dark matches. We're not going to know about it, but like, I mean, I want to see a backstage segment where Sol Ruca and Zarya are walking down the hallway and coming down the other way is Jade Cargill. Get those two monsters facing off with each other. That could be fun.
Yeah.
We've already done the face-to-face backstage like with Zarya and Rhea Ripley because we know that Rhea Ripley helped Zarya get in and stuff like that, and that's a match we're going to see at some point. But Zarya in front of, like I say, like the sort of main roster audience, I want to see what that looks like. Everybody else here is a star. People like Kairi Sane. People really like Asuka now that she's back. Charlotte is going to get a Charlotte reaction. Everybody's with Alexa Bliss, not only because she's awesome, but because of the Wyatt association, even though she's not associated with the Wyatt Six. Judgment Day or the Judgment Day, they're a lot of fun. Roxanne and Raquel are doing the Team Little Big thing. I don't know. Do we see the other guys from Judgment Day get involved? Does somebody have a problem with Charlotte Flair? Because somebody always has a problem with Charlotte Flair. And I mean, if we come out of this show and Asuka and Kairi Sane and Io Sky are all sitting in the back with belts, there's going to be some cool conversations that happen about that as well.
Yeah.
The one thing we didn't talk about last night when we were talking about the Yoshiki Inamura versus Obafemi match was they did that video package of a whole bunch of people from Noah
Yeah. The
wishing
Great Muta
Yoshiki Inamura
included.
Great Muda, a couple of other people I'm not familiar with, I'll be honest, but Io Sky was in that mix as well. Really cool thing to do, and it's as simple as like people in TNA saying, "Hey, you know, guys, go get our TNA title back." But it's a couple of faces from Noah and saying, "Hey, we're working with these guys too. TNA is on our TV a lot, but like we got these guys as well. Look at us talking about our friends and stuff like that. Nice and feel good and whatever." And it contributed. I'm going to go back to our last pod to a point that I don't think I remembered to make. We talked about Josh Briggs being a little overbearing and sort of talking for Yoshiki
Yes.
in the Obafemi thing, right? I think there's a cool thing of like, here's all these nice people giving these nice messages to Yoshiki. Yoshiki's trying to be the good, like the good athlete, the good contender. Hey, let's have a good match. I'm coming for your title. I think I'm going to win, but you know, respectfully and all that kind of thing. To see him have a friend that sits behind him and says, "Look, I know you're super respectful, but fuck this guy for the way he's talking to you." Like everybody kind of needs a friend like that.
Yeah.
It's going to turn into something else, I'm sure. But in the moment, it was like, hey, yeah, like you can stay nice and friendly and respectful and whatever. But if this guy disrespects you, I'll tell him to fuck off so you don't have to.
Yeah, exactly. I got you.
Everybody needs a Josh Briggs in their corner sometimes. Anyways, getting back to the pay-per-view at hand, while I talk about the stuff that I forgot to talk about last night.
Yeah.
Um, I'm resigned to agree with you in the sense that I don't think there's a title change here. Sol Ruka and Zarya, mostly because I'm biased towards NXT.
Yeah.
Kabuki Warriors are going to have a hell of an outing. Kabuki Warriors will be the tag team titles sooner or later, or tag team title holders sooner or later. I don't think it happens this Sunday.
Yeah, they're not winning the belts. Judgment Day is retaining here. That's going to be the plan. No doubt about it. I think it's just
I
that
really,
simple.
It's funny when you get this many and you think about tag teams, you think about like teams working as units and all that sort of thing. But every now and then you just think there's going to be a random combination here that I really like to see. I'm really curious specifically when Asuka and Roxanne are in the ring together, what that's going to be like. I think that's going to be really, really like knock your jaw off
Yeah, especially
stuff.
because Kairi Sane has been just hot garbage for weeks now. Since she's returned, she's not had one good match, not one positive outing, ends up injuring her. So,
Poor girl.
yeah. I don't want to
I
pile
don't
the hate
think she has
on,
an evil
but
intent in her
I
body.
don't think
And
she
I
does
think,
either. I don't know if it's ring rust or what, but she's just not
yeah.
doing well.
It's worth mentioning that both big injuries that have happened on Raw recently have been in matches with her, but at the same time, she might have been like sloppy in the match. Neither injury was due to anything she did. And I think some of the pile on her has been ridiculous,
Oh,
considering
absolutely.
considering the fact that she herself has just come back from injury.
I'm still going to blame her, but yeah. It's
Okay,
still her
fair.
fault, god damn it. No, I've said it for weeks now. Goddamn Kairi Sane, that stupid ruining Evolution. No, I do like Kyrie, but she's just not had a good go of it. She's been very rusty since returning, and even before she left, like she was, not the legal person, but trying to stay in the ring and like just having issues. So hopefully they can get through whatever that is, because she can be impressive in the ring.
And I never want to like what do you want to say, like bring somebody down the pecking order, but maybe a tag team situation might be better suited for when it's a cooperative effort of like in a regular tag team match. Like if it's a cooperative effort between four people and you're carrying a quarter of the load, then half the load, it might be the change she needs. And obviously, her and Oscar are super familiar with each other. They've tag teamed before. They've been tag team champions before when Paige was their manager. See, it comes around and comes around and it comes around. Um, I think maybe this might be the thing. And also, like Oscar, we're all happy to see Oscar come back, but it's the women's division's very, very crowded at the top. So putting
Yes.
them back together as a tag team might be the genius move.
I
'Cause
agree, and they need more women's tags. They really
and they
do.
do.
So not a
And they
bad
feel
idea
like more of
to
a
it's a good idea to team Charlotte and Alexa together. Asuka and Kyrie, good to have them form back up. Sol and Zarya are beloved because of the vignettes and the character work that
mhm,
NXT does. That's why people like
yep.
them as a tag team. That's why I like the muscle mommy, muscle muffin thing that's going on as of, the other day with Jordan Grace, which we'll get into. But
We all had a spa day. It's fine. It's
right.
fine. Uh, I don't have much to say. Io Sky, Rhea Ripley. I'm not really bothered either way. They're leaning super heavy on the fact that Rhea Ripley has never beaten Io Sky, which makes me think it's going to
Super
happen.
heavy. Yes.
Yep.
That's the entire video package's point. And then on top of it, it was really weird because Rhea should be coming out there being like, I need to be in evolution. I need to be the best. Instead, they're like, Io's like, I need to beat the best. But yet you've always beaten Rhea. So aren't you the best? You're the champ.
It's kind of funny because
It's a bit
in a
ridiculous.
million in a million years, I don't think Io Sky's turning heel or being or doing anything shady, right? But if all the managers were told, or sorry, because there's a lot of like same thing with the tag match. It wasn't necessarily that people won number one contenders matches. It's like every manager on every show is going to pick a representative, and that's how we got to the tag match, right?
Yeah.
The fact that they went to Tiffany Stratton and said, "You can pick your opponent." They went to Io Sky and said, "You can pick your opponent." If you're Io Sky, don't you wanna pick an opponent? And she's not a heel, so this doesn't work. But
That's what
don't
I'm
you wanna
saying.
pick
You
an
want to pick somebody you've beaten repeatedly. That's why I wish she kind of said that. Like,
mm.
it's an easy day out for the champ without being a heel. They could have done it, I'm sure. Maybe it would have caused some ruffled
Okay,
feathers,
see,
but
that's if she's thinking selfishly, thinking like a cowardly heel, which she's not. The other side of the coin, or the criticism has been right before, what was it, Night of Champions, there was the thing backstage, Io Sky and Asuka were teasing a match against each other, like a proper title match, if she had won the Queen of the Ring, which went to Jade Cargill. And everyone's like, "Oh, well, how come that couldn't happen if she could just pick her opponent?" Well, you're coming off of a pay-per-view where Rhea Ripley won a pretty smash mouth match against Raquel Rodriguez, and Asuka lost to Jade Cargill. So you don't look good picking the loser just because the loser is your friend. Like the optics of that is really off. So in the pay-per-view, in the last pay-per-view, there was one woman that won on your show and one woman that lost on your show. You're gonna pick the one with the momentum if you're the upstanding babyface champion.
yeah, no doubt about it. The booking was odd
And
here, and
Asuka
it hurt it a little bit.
and Asuka and Io Sky is something they have got in their back pocket that they can pull out at any time that's gonna be fantastic on its day.
Yeah, no
And
doubt about it.
I'm sorry, I don't wanna be a dickhead, and this isn't a dig at Bianca Belair. This is the match we should have had at WrestleMania. The triple threat was great, do not get me wrong, including Bianca Belair. The triple threat these ladies had at WrestleMania was fantastic, not taking anything away from it.
Yes.
But it didn't make sense. Io Sky and Rhea Ripley already had a feud going. Bianca Belair lifted herself out of the feud that she was in on a different show to get dropped into that match.
By being friends with both of them suddenly.
Yeah, it was
I'm out there
weird.
just to root for you two, not to get involved in the match,
Oh,
even though.
yeah. And they were both pie facing Io, which everybody got mad about. And I'm like, you should know that that means she's winning.
Yeah,
Let's be real for a second.
and Io, less the disrespect, she went ahead and just couldn't keep up most times with the promo work, so she got kind of like dropped behind a little bit, and
Mhm.
eventually that led to the fans wanting to see her break out, which was a help,
Yep.
thankfully, but it took a while to get there.
Oh, the fans love Io, and, like, the fact that, like, even when she's not speaking, like, she's got the gestures and whatever, she's got people mimicking her in the crowd.
Yes.
It's not quite the same, but it's as good for fan reaction as somebody like an LA Knight that does, like, the call and response, like the "Yeah," or whatever the case may be. If you're not somebody who's super strong on the mic, and I think Io is better than people give her credit for, um, but somebody if you've got the crowd that's going to mimic her in a physical way, if they can't mimic her in a verbal way, that's their way of gravitating towards her.
Yeah.
I think she's great. I think this match is going to be fantastic. I think this match is going to be really hard hitting.
This could
I
be
think
the main
it's going to
event.
be.
This likely will be the main event. It's not for
I think it
us,
will.
but I think this is going to
I think
close
it
the
will.
show. It's all going to close the show with Rhea being out there because Rhea's their top female star. She's their top talent. She's their top everything.
Rhea Ripley is one of the top 5 biggest stars in that company, male or female.
Absolutely.
I always said like I always take the piss out of AEW with the 4 pillars thing, but the 4 pillars at one time, I mean, Roman's not around anymore, but when I said the 4 pillars were Roman, Cody, CM Punk, and Rhea Ripley, I wasn't lying.
Yes.
Roman is such a part of storylines that he's a part of the storyline even when he's not here.
Yes,
like
I agree
everything
with
we
that.
see with the bloodline now is remnants of what Roman did.
Of
like
the
coming out of
OTC
COVID. Yeah.
God, I hate
OTC
that.
OTC 1 is supposed to mean like tribal chief, but wouldn't it be TC 1 then?
You would think, but I guess they're going
Even Simon
for...
Miller. Shout out to Simon Miller, who's like positive about everything. Even he was taking the piss out of it. Also, shout out to Simon Miller, who grabbed a picture of Jade Cargill in like a really nice shirt from the clothing brand Simon Miller, and then had a picture of himself with a regular t-shirt that he just wrote Jade Cargill on.
Yeah.
Dude's just really... I hope he comes back to Destiny. Check it off your Spaz Phoenix bucket list. It's fine. Anyways, I left it for last, even though I don't think it's going to be the last match of the NXT Championship. Io versus Rhea is going to main event. Ripley's the biggest star they have. It is what it is. All due respect to your Beckys and your Jades and your Baileys and your Charlottes and your whoever else I'm forgetting. Asuka, Trish Stratus is going to be in there. Nikki Bella is unfortunately going to be there. In the year of Al Bundy, 2025, Rhea Ripley is a top 5 star in the company, let alone in the women's division. It's going to main event.
Yeah.
Even if she doesn't win, and I don't mind if she doesn't win, I'm gonna be really jazzed. It'd be really cool if you did.
It would be great.
But let's talk about NXT and the NXT Women's Championship, because this is the most fun, right?
Yes.
I said last night.
This is our main event. This is our
main event. This is the NXT-NA main event, because the winner of this match goes on to Slammiversary to go title for title with Masha Slamovich.
Yeah.
Now, I said last night that Blake Monroe and Jordan Grace are going to beat Fatal Influence at Great American Bash. I said that because JC Jane's going to retain here.
Really?
I do. And there's reasons. If this was just a straight up match on its own, Jordan Grace kills her, obviously. But my thought process for this, Blake Monroe needs to win on Saturday. It's her first pay-per-view match. They're not going to have her lose her first pay-per-view match, right?
Yes.
Now, we're going to go on and we're going to do this title for title thing at Slammiversary. Now, the way I'm looking at it is a lot of people are getting real hot that somebody in NXT has a TNA belt. They're going to want to pay that back in some way, shape, or form. Right?
They are going to want to pay that back. And
so I think they do it with the ladies, because the whole talent exchange with TNA and NXT started with the women's division, started with Jordan Grace coming over to NXT representing TNA in the first place.
Yeah.
Now, you don't want Jordan Grace, who's now NXT, going back to TNA just to eat a loss. Right?
Exactly.
A week after she wins the title. you send because for the TNA fans out there, it's just a rematch of something they saw quite a bit right before Jordan Grace left. Was Jordan and Masha. They had a friendship and a falling out and a respectful match, and whatever the case may be, as she was finishing up her business there before she came to NXT. JC Jane has been fucking with Masha Slamovich for a couple of weeks now, if you've been watching TNA. JC Jane versus Masha Slamovich is a new match. JC Jane versus Masha Slamovich is a match that doesn't feel like it's just a rematch of an old TNA match.
Yeah.
And JC Jane versus Masha Slamovich is not a surprising win for Masha Slamovich. I think
Okay.
the easier loss for Jordan Grace, where she doesn't lose any face, is a match where she's going into Evolution. It's a 3-on-1 advantage because Fallon Henley and Jasmine Nix are gonna be there. There could be some other fuckery and all that kind of thing. Give Jordan Grace the sort of soft loss here so that JC Jane can go over into enemy territory and eat the bigger loss at Slammiversary so that they can do that title thing. It's another reason why I think Yoshiki Hanamura versus Obafemi is an interesting match, because if they give one of their belts to TNA, one of their belts to Noah, and people still come out and talk about how selfish NXT is, then they're talking out of their bums. But
Yeah.
I,
So,
I think it's
I,
strategic. I think JC Jane going over to eat a loss when they're already setting the breadcrumbs for it, because JC Jane's the one that's been over in TNA causing all the fuss, causing all the ruckus, staring down Masha Slamovich. They're already advertising that match without saying it. And Jordan Grace going back over, like I said, it just feels like an old TNA match.
you know,
So I think she gets the win in the tag match with Blake Monroe on Saturday afternoon. She loses. Maybe they attack her after the tag match that softens her up for this match, and then it's a 3-on-1 advantage. She loses. JC Jane goes over to TNA and eats the bigger loss over in TNA. Masha Slamovich is supposedly supposed to be at Great American Bash and Evolution this weekend.
yes.
So maybe she kind of like tries to help. Like, if there's a situation where Fatal Influence are like triple teaming Jordan Grace, Masha Slamovich steps in as Jordan Grace's old familiar friend and tries to defend her. It ends up costing her the title. Yes, you can revisit Jordan Grace versus Masha Slamovich later on down the line. JC Jane's laughing at everybody, but Masha Slamovich lets her know it's like, yeah, now I get to kill you next week.
Yeah. Now I get to destroy you. All right.
And I don't really see the value in Jordan Grace holding the belt for a week.
Here's the thing.
Okay.
I think what's going to happen is Jordan's winning. She's being crowned champ at Evolution. The whole story is about her needing to believe that she is a woman, not just a beast of an athlete. And Blake is going to help her against, Fatal Influence. She'll be the X factor there. And the story is Jordan going on to take on the woman that dethroned her from having the Knockouts title. So as much as it is a
Fair point.
repeat match, it's a needed repeat, because the story is, hey, you took me out and then basically sent me packing. I was on my way out of the company. It was that and the loss to Tessa. There we go. Now she's back. She's the champ of the other company, and she's here to avenge that loss. I think that's the story they want to go with, because Jordan is still as much of a TNA knockout as she is an NXT, fighter. I think they see her as such. So having her on
Here's the problem:
Slammiversary,
if they were gonna make Jordan Grace the double champion, they would have done it when she was the TNA champion, chasing Roxanne Perez for it. Here's the other half as
I don't
well.
think they wanted to do it then until she was part of the company. I think that was the key. I think WWE wants to hold that.
Fair. But here's the thing. We talk about WWE opening themselves up to criticism. If you've got NXT superstars holding both TNA championships, they're gonna hear it endlessly.
Well, I
Now,
think that's the point of that too. That's kind of what they're going to be talking about, building into Slammiversary, being like, hey, we need to get our stuff back. We need to recover. We need to, we need to take our belts back. Yeah.
Here's the other thing as well. Remember when they introduced Stephanie Vacour and Julia at the same time, and they put Julia in the main picture, Stephanie Vacour in the mid, and then they realized they should have switched it, right?
Yes.
Now you've got two more with Jordan Grace and Blake Monroe. Now, Jordan Grace fails to get the title off of JC Jane. JC Jane refuses to give her a rematch. Fallon Henley steps up to Jordan Grace for the betterment of Fatal Influence or whatever. She gets into a separate feud with Fallon Henley. Her and Fallon Henley have a number one contenders and say, okay, winner of this gets to face Sol Ruka, or maybe Izzy Dame, if Izzy Dame is the North American champion by then. So you take a side tangent with Jordan Grace. She picks up the North American Championship, treats it like an Intercontinental Championship, which I think she will be fantastic in. And it gives the chance for, hey, Blake Monroe maybe is the one that gets the pin in the tag match this coming Saturday afternoon. So Blake Monroe, now that she never got a chance to get that #1 match, because pinning a champion, even in a tag match, should get you a tag match. But JC Jane has now lost the title to Masha Slamovich. Blake Monroe, who we just stole from AEW, gets sent to represent NXT in TNA and get the NXT title back.
Yeah.
And then you've got a situation where Blake Monroe, you know, what we say about the WWE title, the Intercontinental title, one's for superstars, one's for wrestlers, right? Blake Monroe as your top NXT Women's Champion and Jordynne Grace as your mid-card Intercontinental-ish North American Champion. That's two pretty good tentpoles for your women's division going forward.
Yeah. I don't disagree. I just think that they're going to go with the former champ taking on the new champ.
Yeah, I don't know. I think basically what I'm saying here is I think it's JC Jane that's going to get the title taken off of her by Masha Slamovich. Masha Slamovich is going to get all the praise that she deserves. If she's carrying the NXT Championship and the TNA Championship, it means she's going to be featured prominently on both shows. And if there's a talent that's been going under the radar that really deserves that double spotlight, it's somebody like Masha Slamovich.
I mean,
I'm
not
really
against
excited
it at all.
I'm really excited to see what she does as like another Mike Santana. Like, I'm here to do the NXT thing, but I'm still really proud to represent TNA because I think she'll present herself in a very, very similar way. But I really do want to see her mix it up. Like Masha Slamovich versus Tatum Paxley. I know Tatum Paxley is the one I lean on quite a bit for these comparisons, but like Masha Slamovich in an NXT environment is something I want to take a look at. When they first started sending people over, I'm like, they're going to send her over eventually. She just had a really wicked chains match with Killer Kelly. I think it was last week. And I'm like, bring some of that attitude over to NXT. It'll be good.
It would be. I mean, I already felt like this was kind of like, again, a little bit of a foregone conclusion. It felt like in my mind, Jordan's winning. She's going to Slammiversary to take on Masha. That's the story. But you set up a really good, solid opposite to that, which I'm thankful for. Because, or else I feel like it was just going to be a very straightforward for me, like, oh, Nikki wins, Rhea wins, and Jordan wins. Bam, bam, bam.
And honestly, like the one that's really being overlooked in the entire situation, even in my scenario, is JC Jane. Like her whole character right now is proving that she's not a paper champion. And she's going to go into this tag match with Jordynne Grace and Blake Monroe. She's going to go into this singles match with Jordynne Grace. She's going to, in my scenario, go into this singles match with Masha Slamovich. She could have a pretty powerful 2 weeks for somebody that, out of everybody that I just mentioned, is one of the like lesser experienced talents. Like she's going to hold her own with Blake Monroe, Jordynne Grace, Masha Slamovich, who've all been kind of all over the place and got experience from all over the place. Really cool couple of weeks for her to show up, show out, and show what she can do. And
Okay.
because she's in a faction, she gets to bring Fallon Henley along the way. Somewhere along the way, you're going to get Masha Slamovich, Fallon Henley, which I kind of want to look at.
Yeah.
And Jasmine Nix, God
it
help
is
her,
interesting.
maybe she can just get a match. But yeah, it's a pretty loaded card, loaded with possibilities, loaded with maybe surprises, and yeah, like I say, the throughput for the NXT stuff is to Slammiversary next week, where we will ramble through another preview. This is the biggest card that we've gotten from WWE in a while, with probably, I would say, the most possibilities.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm really glad it's not being counter-programmed by AEW and their pettiness, but it is what it is.
Hey,
Please go check out our preview because we had a lot of fun doing that too.
We did indeed. So did the dead man.
She took my working clothes, my working attire. We got to stop doing bad Undertaker impressions and sounding like Wrestling Jesus.
Ah, the dead man lacks the sound.
All right, I'm going to do it just one time because I'm Canadian, so it's kind of the same thing. All righty.
There we go.
Old school. Anyways, I've done quite long enough, and I know your outro is going to be even longer now. So, Jake, tell them all the places that they can find you.
You can find me, that's right, now on Spotify. Into Somewhere is indeed there. Thank you for the shout out, my friend. You can find me on Twitter at Countdown Ended, as well as Instagram and Rumble. And of course, you can find me on YouTube at Jake Countdown Ended DeMARCO, where we'll be live this weekend on Saturday and Sunday night for 2 massive all-inclusive reviews. Spaz will be there on Sunday, and we'll be live after SmackDown as well, so check it out.
Boom. You guys know where to find me or you wouldn't be here. This is like, what, the 4th podcast we've done this week. This one was Evolution. Yep, that's what we're doing. Subscribe up there, talk down there, start a conversation, keep all these conversations going. Don't be a stranger. I'll talk to each and every last one of you later, but for right now, we are tagging out. Bye, guys.
Evolution.